Thanks for tuning in and welcome to the Post Route Show. And now, here's your host, W. Earl Kitchings.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Post Route. I'm your host, W. Earl Kitchings, and as you know, our show is where we dive deep into conversations with Black quarterbacks, both past and present. The show is proudly brought to you by Quarter Five Back, the preeminent fraternity for Black quarterbacks and home of the prestigious BIP Memorial Trophy, the only national award that honors both the top HBCU quarterback and the top Black quarterback from high schools around the country. We're so proud and happy to have you with us tonight. If you enjoy our content and want to support what we're doing here at the Post Route, it's very simple. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Join us live every Monday night at 7 p.m. for more phenomenal conversations. It has been a great weekend for us here at the Post Route and Quarter Five Back. We got a chance to check in on one of our frat brothers, as we like to call them. We ventured down to Daytona Beach, Florida this past weekend and got a chance to see Alabama A&M featuring Cornelius Quad Brown and Cameron Ransom of Bethune-Cookman University as they faced off. Unfortunately, Cornelius had a high ankle sprain and was not able to perform. But we did get a chance to briefly visit with him and spoke to him about his outlook on the rest of the season. And he said he would probably be back next week. So we'll see what happens as we go forward. But getting into where we are tonight, this is like midway, halfway. The season has already gone through 5 to 6 games already at the high school level, approaching 4 to 5 games, maybe 6 for some colleges. And we are midway as to where we are headed with our recognitions and our honors. So let's get right into our show for tonight. Let me start off with our quarterback of the week for the HBCUs. And that would be none other than a guy who had a phenomenal game this past week from Clark Atlanta University, a true freshman. Not too often you get a true freshman, but a true freshman got his chance to start. They had to sit down the starter, and Xavier Jackson got a chance to get his feet wet this past week in a game against Albany State. Although the Panthers of Clark Atlanta were not successful on the scoreboard, this young man had a phenomenal game for his first ever collegiate competition. And we're just happy that he was able to perform at the level that he did. You can see the stats right there in front of you. 28 for 47, 1 INT, 388 yards, and 3 touchdowns. But here's what made him the quarterback of the week, in our opinion. In a matter of 3 minutes, those 3 touchdowns you see, he knocked them out of the park within a matter of 3 minutes. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, he just popped them as he saw them. So congratulations to Xavier Jackson, our Quarter Five Back HBCU quarterback of the week from Clark Atlanta University. Now, as we look at that, we want to bring about the rankings for our HBCU schools, because each week we like to give you who our top guys are. So let me bring that up on the screen for you. Let me see if that's the right one. Nope, that's not it. Let me get to the right one for you. You know, I got all these watch lists because we're going to give you a dose of this tonight. Let me tell you. So let me just run down those guys who are on our watch list for the HBCUs. Jumping to number 1, He's been on the list since we started just about, but he has now moved into number 1, and that would be Jameer Dismukes from Allen University. He moves up because this past week, the junior from Allen had a great game, although the team did not fare as well. So he passed for 286 yards and a couple of touchdowns in their loss to Albany State. But let me start from the bottom and give it to you till we get back to Mr. Dismukes. At number 15, from Bethune-Cookman University, the senior, Cameron Ransom, out of the SWAC conference. He is now at 781 yards with 9 touchdowns. Again, they were successful, eking out a 41-34 victory over Alabama A&M. At number 14, from Kentucky State, out of the SIAC, Torrance Bardell. The graduate student is now at 792 yards and 9 touchdowns. Coming in at number 13, from Lincoln University, out of Pennsylvania, from the SIAC, that is Hamas Duran with 799 yards and 3 touchdowns. At number 12, the junior from Florida A&M University in the SWAC Conference, R.J. Johnson III, 810 yards and 5 touchdowns. Coming in at number 11, a guy who you got to keep your eyes on this year, as he's probably going to be in the final runnings for the BIP Memorial Trophy. Our quarterback of the week from a couple of weeks ago, that's the junior Isaiah Knowles at Albany State, again, out of the SIAC. He comes in now with 825 yards and 9 touchdowns. At number 10, from Arkansas Pine Bluff, the graduate student Christian Peters, 856 yards, 4 touchdowns. They had a whale of a ball game against Alcorn State this past Saturday. At number 9, the guy that everyone seems to be buzzing about right now, and let me tell you, he has not thrown a pick this season. I'm talking about Andrew Body from Alabama State. Those Fighting Hornets are making their presence known in the SWAC East. So the redshirt junior is now at 867 yards and 12 touchdowns. At number 8, Caleb Jackson, the junior from West Virginia State and the Mountain East Conference, 894 yards and 6 touchdowns. At number 7, Miles Scott, a junior from Morehouse University, again, another SIAC quarterback, 943 yards, 5 touchdowns. They lost a very close ball game to Edward Waters University this past weekend in Jacksonville. At number 6, Raquan Beal, the senior at Tuskegee University, again, another SIAC guy, 1,058 yards and 8 touchdowns. Coming in at number 5, a guy who started off the list at number 1. I think because they missed the week, he's kind of fallen off, but I guarantee you he'll get back up in the rankings. Rasan Matthews, the redshirt freshman from Virginia State, CIAA product, 10,059 yards. So Beal and Matthews right there together. 9 touchdowns for Matthews. At number 4, a guy we keep an eye on also is Noah Bowden, Edward Waters University, out of the SIAC, 1,118 yards, 9 touchdowns. Number 3, Dalen Lee, the junior from Winston-Salem State, a CIAA product, 1,146 yards, 14 touchdowns. Coming in at number 2, man, did they put a whooping on Bluefield State. That guy led them, the senior, Kelvin Durham from Johnson C. Smith, again from the CIAA, 1,191 yards, 9 touchdowns. They defeated Bluefield State this past week with a score of 69-13. And then with 1,235 yards, 7 touchdowns, the junior from Allen University, Mr. Jameer Dismukes. So as you can see, things are starting to tighten up, and there will be that separation as we get into the second third of the season, because the separation normally happens after the midpoint. Some guys move very far in advance. Others kind of just dip a little bit. But those are our top 15 quarterbacks for the HBCUs. Now, what we have done, we want to keep everything fresh and moving for you. We've also decided to dip into some of the FCS which is primarily the lower level of Division I, and the NAIA. So let me just start with the NAIA guys first, because those guys don't get a lot of recognition. They are pretty much off the radar, but we don't want them to be off of our radar because they are important to quarterback back and the post route. And there will be some names you probably aren't familiar with on this list because of the schools, but in the NAIA, let me tell you that there is some quality football being played over in that athletic association. And if you have a student athlete who plays at one of those schools, if your child goes to one of those schools, if you went to one of those schools and wonder why your schools don't get the love that the NCAA schools get, hey, I can't speak for them, but here at Quarterfive Back in the Post Route, we want to make sure that all our Black quarterbacks get their time in the sunlight. So let me give you our top 15 NAIA quarterbacks for week 5. And for those fans who are watching the show tonight, hey, if you know somebody that's at one of those schools, hey, give them a shout out and let them know, hey, Quarterfive Back in the Post Route is featuring you guys on their show. And we're going to do what we can to make sure we update them as the season goes forth. So here we go. At number 15, a freshman from Weber out of the Sun Conference. His name is Johnny Lewis. He's at 140 yards and 1 touchdown. At number 14, Jeremiah Warren, a senior from Defiance College. He's at 318 yards and 4 touchdowns. From Dakota State, Rashawn Eaton, a sophomore, 366 yards and 3 touchdowns through 4 games. At number 12, David Buggs, a junior from Florida Memorial out of the Sun Conference, 3 games, 484 yards, and 3 touchdowns. At number 11, Deuce Taylor, Avila out of the Kansas City Athletic Conference. He's into 4 games, 501 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Coming in at number 10, Nate Mickle, the Southeastern University Sun Conference, 3 games, 513 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Then we've got Byron Reese, a freshman from Bethel College out of the Kansas Conference, 528 yards and 2 touchdowns through 4 games. At number 8, Marcus Freeman from Judson, 4 games, 619 yards, and 4 TDs. Another Marcus from Dickinson State, Marcus Sanders, a junior, 628 yards and 6 touchdowns. Coming in at number 6, Sterling Ramsey II, playing at William Penn. Through 4 games, he's got 632 yards and 5 touchdowns. At number 5, Jesse Carver III, Bethany. Again, another one of those Kansas Conference guys. 5 games, 737 yards, 7 touchdowns. Number 4, Luke Grion from OUAZ. That's the name of Oklahoma University of the in Arizona. That is 3 games, 763 yards, and 8 touchdowns. At number 3, Jacob Jones, the redshirt sophomore from Missouri Baptist. 4 games now, 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. Then we're coming up to our top 2 guys. Christian Drew Reed, a senior from Olivet Nazarene. 4 games, 1,080 yards, 11 touchdowns. Then at the top of the list for our Black quarterbacks in the NAIA, Xavier Malone, a graduate student playing at Pikeville. 4 games, 1,488 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Only 2 picks on the season, but he leads our list of Black quarterbacks from the NAIA. And like we said, there may be some unfamiliar names. However, here at Quarterfive Back and the Post Route, these are members of what we like to call our overall family of Black quarterbacks, and we wanted to make sure we showed them some love. So we'll now move on to the FCS quarterbacks. And this is our top 10 list of those guys. Sure, you've heard of some of the schools that come up in that conference. Once upon a time, this was the old Division I AA, but they changed it to Football Championship Series. And of course, this is that connection with what they're doing between the FBS and the FCS. So as my computer likes to give me some glitches at time, we're trying to bring up that top 10 list for you. Let me see if I can find, there we go. It's nothing like having a computer to go on a blink right at the time you need to get the information out to our fans. So we're going to just pause for a little bit while we continue to work on that. While that's coming up, let me tell you, there's a story brewing amongst the high school guys from the East Coast to the West Coast. And the leaders on our watch list at the high school level, that list changes quite frequently. And it is because the list of those guys just happens to be one of those things where these guys are playing and throwing the ball so well that they find themselves moving around. Some guys have been constant, but it's always great to see how they are just moving around and going up and down our watch list. So while I'm going to take that down and get to my high school guys and give you our high school quarterback of the week from Williamson High School in Mobile, Alabama, a senior, Alvin Dinkins. Now, what made him get on our radar was the fact that he threw 8 touchdowns on a night where he only threw 26 passes for 387 yards. But that's not the rest of the story. Two of the quarterbacks in that game where they beat Murphy High had 3 touchdown receptions each. Now, the fact that they beat Murphy High 100-0. And I know the mercy rule is something that you want to see happen. And I don't doubt the mercy rule was in effect. However, things just happen. And it's unfortunate for Murphy that it went that way, but that was the outcome. Alvin Dinkins probably only played 3 quarters at the most. But this was the 19th time in Alabama high school history, the 19th time that a football game witnessed 100 points or more happen. Can you imagine 19 times in the history of your state, some high school has scored 100 points? Well, we still want to send out our congratulations to Alvin Dinkins for leading Williamson to a victory, 367 yards, 20 for 26 on the night, no interceptions, and 8 touchdown passes. We'll see where he lands up as we get ready to look at our quarterbacks on our high school watch list, because those guys are definitely making some headway. And we are so excited to be able to bring them to you tonight, because one guy in particular out in California is doing a phenomenal job. His name is Deshaun Laporte. He's at number 1, but we're going to start from number 15. At number 15, Jordan Wiggins, a freshman at Northeast Macon High School, 19 touchdowns, 1,381 yards. At number 14, a guy who's been on the list since we first started, Cannon Robinson, the sophomore from Westlake High School in Atlanta, Georgia, through 6 games, 1,402 yards and 16 touchdowns. At number 13, the senior from Vigor, Alabama, Vigor High School, through 5 games, Sammy Dunn has put up 1,418 yards, 12 touchdowns. Then we move on to a guy who last season had a game where he threw for over 800 yards. And I was wondering when we were going to get the chance to see him on our watch list. Well, now he's here. Peyton Houston, the junior from Evangel Christian Academy out in Shreveport, Louisiana, through just 4 games, 1,462 yards and 11 touchdowns. At number 11, Jaden Jefferson, Cathedral High School in Los Angeles, California, 5 games, 1,469 yards and 16 touchdowns. Coming in at number 10, Dadriki Powell, the senior from Southeast Raleigh High School in Raleigh, North Carolina, 6 games in, 1,472 yards, 17 touchdowns. At number 9, from Fort Wayne, Indiana, Northside High School, Jaden Rivers, a senior. Through 5 games, he has put up 1,477 yards, 18 touchdowns. In the 8th slot, Malachi Davis, a junior from McFarland High School in McFarland, California. He's played 6 games, put up 1,489 yards and 15 TDs. Coming in at number 7. And like I said, this list of high school guys is moving around quite well. And we love because we can get a chance to expose and highlight a lot of different guys. So at number 7, Donovan Dixon, a senior at Cactus Shadows out in Cave Creek, Arizona, through 5 games, 1,502 yards, 17 touchdowns. From Agora, California, Agora High School, Gavin Gray, a senior, 1,559 yards and 17 TDs. At number 5, from Princeton, Texas, Princeton High School, Marcus Flowers, the senior, 1,575 yards, 13 touchdowns through 5 games. That's why I said we're kind of midway through the season because the high school guys are right at 5, some of them at 6. Some of them just haven't had that bye week yet. At number 4, Cameron Phillips, a sophomore from Live Oak Cliff High School in Dallas, Texas, 5 games, 1,579 on the books for yardage, 24 touchdowns. At number 3, Jeremiah Later from St. Cloud High in St. Cloud, Florida, 6 games, 1,633 yards and 15 touchdowns. At number 2, from Antioch High School in Antioch, Tennessee, Andre Adams, a junior, 6 games, 1,762 yards, 19 touchdowns, only 1 pick on the season. And at number 1, he keeps moving between 1 and 3 the last couple of weeks. Deshaun Laporte, the junior from Burbank High, Burbank, California, 5 games, 1,778 yards, and 22 touchdowns. So as you can see, we've got a very, very, very diverse group of high school quarterbacks who are playing some outstanding football. And right now, it's kind of a toss-up as to who might be our 2025 BIP Memorial Trophy winner from the high school ranks because these numbers just keep moving game in and game out. But you know what? We love having it just that way. So congratulations to these 15 young men who made our watch list for week 6 of the high school watch list here at Quarter 5 Back. And what we like to do is keep them in the mix. One of the things we've been able to do with the high schools this year is to directly contact their schools and their coaches, athletic directors, or administrators to make them aware that these young men are on a national watch list. They're competing against guys from around the country, east to west, north to south. And we've gotten some great feedback from the coaches, and our hats off to those coaches who sent us a notice thanking us for recognizing their student athletes, because this is a great honor to be on a watch list. One of the top 15 black quarterbacks at the high school level in the nation. So if you've got someone that we have not recognized or you think is deserving, hey, send us an email at quarter5back@yahoo.com and make sure we know about your quarterback at your high school from your community, because the list of quarterbacks state by state, let me tell you, it is huge. I guarantee you we're probably looking at about 500 quarterbacks on our national all-state watch list this year. It has grown from the first time we did this from about 300 to now we're up to 500. And we want to make sure that we keep this going, because here's why this is important. As we continue to build what we're doing here at Quarter 5 Back, we are looking at creating a ring of honor for those guys who have passed for over 1,500 yards, another level of honoring for those who are between 1,000 to 1,500, and then a third level of honoring those guys who are under that 1,000 level, because, you know, some guys are on the teams, they just don't get a chance to play much. But here at Quarter 5 Back, if you're on the team and you get a minimum of 100 yards, you will be recognized by us and placed in our all-time honoree list. So we've got Ring of Honor, Distinguished, Honorable Mention. And what we are attempting to do is, as we grow our, I guess, trove of all these quarterbacks, we are hoping that one day we can open up a museum and have these boards up or list up to show year by year what quarterbacks made our list of distinction over the years. So it's not just recognizing them and it goes away. They become a part of who we are for life. And we're just building this platform, this organization, to make sure that, as our mission statement states, to preserve the legacy of black quarterbacks, because we know this is important work we're doing. And we know in time, recognizing these young men from the high school to the collegiate levels is going to be well worth our efforts. In our upcoming show, we're going to bring you our FBS list, our Division II list from NCAA, and we'll get to the NFL list of quarterbacks as their standings are as we continue to move through the season. You know, the quarterbacks at the NFL, they're just getting started. So we'll see how that works. But all of these guys are a part of the Quarter 5 Back family. So we are just honored to have them to be a part, and hope that you will continue to support our efforts. As we like to always ask you, if you are appreciative of what we're doing here at Quarter 5 Back, hey, drop us a line. Send us an email to let us know we're doing a good job. Give us some ideas of what you think might help us in building our model of this great organization that we're building. Even if you want to order my book, The Forgotten QBs, $35 gets you that book. Shipping is free. You got to get that book because it gives you some additional information and added value to knowing the story and the histories of black quarterback. Then if you really want to support us, hey, you can join us with a lifetime membership of only $44. $44. That is not hard to do. You can go online, send us that through Cash App. You see it on your screen, $Q5BACK44. Or if you're a Zelle person, you can send it to 904-994-2189. We are looking for any type of support we can get. And as we continue to grow, things will get better. A couple of things we're going to be putting out pretty soon. As you can see, the official lapel pin for members of the Quarterfied Back fraternity, all members who become our frat brothers in the fraternity, this is what they will now be getting. We're about to get those out to the guys. We've also got some new merchandise coming in. We're going to have silicone bands. If you just want to show support for what we're doing, you can send us a donation and we'll get you one of those. But we're just looking at different ways to make sure we grow our efforts here at Quarterfied Back. So until next Monday night, we hope you've enjoyed our mid-season watch list with the high school and I'm sorry we could not get the FCS watch list to work. I don't know why that computer wanted to give me such a timely, I'm not going to cooperate, but it's okay because we're going to keep it moving forward because that's what we do here. So until next week, and remember, next month we'll have our new posthumous member that we'll add to the fraternity, and we're looking forward to that. Well, guess what? Now it's available. So let me go through our FCS watch list real quick for week 5 in FCS football. At number 10, Cardell Williams, junior from Cal State Sacramento out of the Big Sky Conference, 750 yards. Number 9, Caden Pinnick, a redshirt freshman from UC Davis, again out of the Big Sky, 753 yards, 8 touchdowns. Number 8, Nate Hampton from Gardner-Webb out of the Southern Conference, 803 yards, 7 touchdowns. Number 7, the guy who was playing at Hampton, moved on now to Stony Brook out of the Coastal Athletic Association, Chris Zealous over there at Stony Brook, 902 yards, 6 touchdowns. At number 6, Jordan Cook, a redshirt junior from Idaho State out of the Big Sky, 966 is his yards, 4 touchdowns. Tyler Hughes from William and Mary out of the CAA, 959 yards, 9 touchdowns. At number 4, Teron Dickens, redshirt sophomore out of Miami, Florida, playing at Western Carolina, 1,009 yards and 10 touchdowns. At number 3, Chris Parson from Austin P out of the United Athletic Conference, redshirt sophomore with 1,026 yards and 7 touchdowns. At number 2, Quincy Crittenden from Sanford out of the Southern Conference, 1,245 yards and 5 touchdowns. And at the top of the list, out of Stockbridge, Georgia, the redshirt junior playing at Rhode Island, Devin Farrell, 1,284 yards, 7 touchdowns. That is our FCS Week 5 watch list for those quarterbacks at that level. So as you can see, we are trying to make sure that we do a good job of getting everybody some love and getting everybody some attention. So until next week, I'd like to thank my staff for being a part of making these shows possible. It is always my joy to be a part of what we're doing here at Quarterfied Back, and we just love my staff, and that goes from my producer, Ms. Ronley Kennedy, to my social media director, Mr. C.D. Lazier, and also our resident photographer, Mr. Will Relaford, and also our resident sports psychologist, Miss Dr. Will Kitchings. So until the next time, when you get a chance to join us here on the Post Route, as we always say, go deep and go for the bomb. Till next time, everybody, have a great week.